Chef Jordy, welcome to Friday Cocktail Hour live with me, Martini Whisperer. You're our first guest. Welcome. 45 pin. Cheers, my friend. Hope you're safe and well up there. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my last Instagram live for the year. Is it really that time again? I know it's cocktail o'clock. That's what time it is. Somewhere in the world. So what I'm going to do next half hour or so, and I'm happy to take questions along the way. If you've got something burning you've always wanted to ask me, but this will be my last Instagram live for the year, like I mentioned. I will be popping up and keeping you in the loop next week or two, and then I might have a little lie down because we've got a busy year ahead. So I just want to say thank you in the next half hour or so to a whole bunch of people and tell you some stories about what was new for me, and 2020 being what it is. I'm not going to say it's that kind of year, but it's been that kind of year, right? I'll just turn Frank down a bit. All right, in no particular order. First a sip. Cheers. I want to give a shout out to some of the clients I've worked with this year. And this is not advertorial in any shape or form, but basically I thought I'd give a nice opportunity to let you guys know some of the things I've done this year, and also some of the fabulous brands and spirits that I've been exposed to throughout the year. So I'm going to weave some stories in, but there's no way an ad or any shape or form. So 36 Short, who are a fantastic 36S, they're out of South Australia. I'm putting that way because South Australia's over that way somewhere. John and his team make really beautiful small batch gins and vodkas, very natural, based on wine spirits. So I did some tasting for them here in Canberra. They didn't know way into the market over here because they're there and we're here in the lockdown and all the rest of it. So I had great fun introducing their brand around Canberra. And I don't do it very often, but when you get a nice quality product, they make a beautiful blood orange gin and a rhubarb gin, which is to die for. Plus their regular kind of releases. So when you have a good product like that, I'm very happy to introduce it to people. Antipodes. So Antipodes Gin, they're a way of, again, South Australia, but also Hunter Valley. It's complicated. But they moved here in Canberra beginning of the year because they were Australia's first certified organic gin. And so they, with it, ACT being a very progressive territory in terms of environmental controls and sustainability policies and so forth, they kind of figured it's a nice opportunity to come here. So that's what they did. And so they've been really lovely to work with. And we did World Gin Day right here, with their distillers talking all things Antipodes. That was really a fun evening, actually. The Royal Australian Mint. So way back when, in another aging period, way before COVID, my last event, I think by a day or two, was doing a VIP event at the Royal Australian Mint. It's a real privilege behind the scenes, where they make the coins, there's a lot of security and all that well, as it should be. They're absolutely gorgeous to work with, and I made a special cocktail, and there's a for the occasion and so on and so forth. So the Mint are very dear to my heart. They're a fantastic team, and so for a cultural institution, really innovative and really forward thinking. So welcome everybody if you're just joining in. I started a bit early, but it's Friday and I've had a bit of a day, frankly. So cheers to you. I hope you're safe and well, and you and yours are fine wherever you are in the world right now. Chin. What I thought I'd do is take the opportunity in that time of year just to give you guys a bit of a sense of some of the things I've done and people I've worked with and some of the highlights for me. And if you've got a question on the way, by all means. All right, so the Mint, beautiful people. Hotel Realm. Hotel Realm's a really fabulous 5-star property here in Canberra. Them and the Burberry Hotel. So again, way back when, before the current unpleasantness, we're doing gin and tonic parties on the roof, martini masterclasses, and again, they're a big operation, but they're really a family business at heart. So I just love working with them. Nothing of too much trouble. Clearly a whole bunch of stuff we planned to do didn't happen, but we'll come back next year bigger and better than before. So yeah, thank you, Hotel Realm. Who else we got? Oh, a shout out to my various private clients. And my funnest thing I did, I think, maybe, all year, was for a Melbourne couple in lockdown. So Melbourne, if you weren't aware, had the strictest lockdown, I think, anywhere in the world for several months. It was awful for them. What's my glass tonight? 45 in. You want to take an educated guess? Twist will give you a hint. Yes, so they follow me on Instagram. Hi Holly, happy birthday this year. And her husband reached out to me quietly and goes, well, can you do something for us? We're all locked in, can't go anywhere. What can you do? So we arranged a special martini masterclass via FaceTime. And what was cool about it was I told him what to get and hide it around the house so she couldn't guess. And then got me a number, read time, I call up, and she wasn't going to answer, kind of thinking it might be a wrong number. No, answer it. Yeah, see what it is, but nothing else to do. And I go, hi Holly, happy birthday, me, Martini Whisperer. And she goes, oh my God. So we had a wonderful hour and a half talking martinis and doing masterclasses and tips, and he had all the stuff all ready. So really class act. So that was great. So yeah, so all my private clients, the private gin. I've got one more tomorrow. Private gin tasting, about 25 people, Australian international gins, and that's I'm done for the year, so to speak. So that's been really fun, needless to say, and more about next year. Who else do I want to mention? Canberra Modern. So Canberra Modern are a festival, if you've heard of Modernism Week in America, so Canberra Modern is like inspired by that. Canberra, if you weren't aware, sorry, that's Cosmo in the background being really annoying right now. Cosmo the puppy. What was I? Yeah, so Canberra Modern are a fantastic festival, passionate about mid-century modern in Canberra, which has it in spades. And so we're great mates, and so they get me in to make martinis. So I did a thing about a month ago now, fabulous private home, where it's like a mid-century modern, all the who's who, the cultural kind of scene was there. And I just made martinis for everybody from my team, colleague, and they had a great old time. And fun fact, out of the, I don't know, pick a number, 100 martinis I served that night, about 70 were dirty. So it seems like dirty, you have a dirty fan or your gateway. So Finn, answer your question. It's Plymouth Gin, Comfort Zone Night, my friend. Plymouth Gin with a bar spoon of Dolon, and of course I'm interested in some Thieves orange bitters. I'll prepare to drink a fair bit of this tonight. Cheers everybody. So if you're just joining in, thank you very much. Hope you're surfing well. Philip Jones Martini Whisperer. I'm talking about some of the things I've done this year, and giving a shout out to all the wonderful people, venues, distillers I've worked with this year, and I kind of figured it's the least I could do. So, cheers to you. It's not going to last long, I think, this one. All right. So, Canberra Centre. Canberra Centre, the first event I did after lockdown. So, we were very, very, very fortunate here in Canberra. We had pretty nothing cases to speak of, thanks to a very good management and all the rest of it. So, but we still had to shut down nonetheless. Not as bad as other places, but there it was. So, I had a year's worth of events all lined up, and they all just evaporated like everyone else's did. So, I feel for any business person out there because I know exactly what that's been like. However, Canberra Centre was the first to get in touch. So September, so we're talking really quite early on in the scheme of things. I did a fashion event with beautiful Fiona Keary. So it's like a cocktail event, come spring, summer fashion collection, all socially distanced. So we were all quite strict about all that. And I made a martini with saffron inspired by the Gabriel Boucher's saffron gin from France. If you're a bit like a spritzer with Prosecco, it's delicious with saffron garnish. Very extravagant, but the ladies rocked them. So that was really fun. Food I Am. Again, one of the first things I did when I locked down was about 3 hours drive from here, so a lovely city called Wagga Wagga, and there's a cooking school called Food I Am. Now, in better times, they do luxury food tours around the world, like to Spain, Italy, and India, and so forth. Lovely, lovely people to deal with. So I've been doing a series of Australian spirit tastings, so whiskey, gin, rum, etc., etc. Great turnout, always sold out. And they put me up for a nice hotel out there. Great country hospitality. So Food I Am. I'll see you next year, and thanks again for everything. If you're just joining in, I'm just talking about what I'm doing this year, next year, and things like that. If you've got a question about anything you always want to know about anything, within reason, chime in. Happy to help. All right, Food I Am. Find at East Hotel. Again, we're going way back to February, March, before the current unpleasantness. And I did a series of gin tastings and spirit tastings for them in their hotel. So there again, beautiful luxury hotel, but family run, big heart, lovely to deal with. So I'm sure we'll see each other there next year. I want to talk about collaborators. So they're my clients and people I've kind of worked with. So collaborators, as I define them, now I don't see myself as an influencer. No. There's an article on my website about how much I hate influencers. I never ask for anything. I always buy my own stuff. If they send it to me unsolicited, I'll happily look at it. If it's good enough, I'll share it with you. If it's not, I'll give a private feedback to them, but I never, ever solicit for anything, and I never go, don't you know who I am kind of rubbish, right? So I'm sure you get that from me by now. Anyway, but I get to work with some lovely, talented people. So Avon Disanake is a local filmmaker. A couple of months ago, Floriade was our National Spring Festival here in Canberra, working with Underground Spirits. So he produces on my YouTube channel somewhere, and probably on my website, I think, a really cool, slick video of me making cocktails using some special gin from Underground Spirits for the festival by Lake Burley Griffin, outdoor kind of broadcast, and he schmicked it up, made me look really good. So thank you, Avon. Canberra Secrets, they do tours around Canberra. So we're prototyping things where you do a walking tour, guided tour around the good stuff around Canberra, and then at the end of the day you end up somewhere here, and I go, hello, I'm here, and I've got like Canberra gins or Canberra whiskies and things like that. So we've prototyped that seems to work, so we'll do some more of that next year. So Marg, Canberra Secrets, thank you. Cosmerex Cosmorex are local. They've been around way back when. I used to run restaurants. So my first career, if you like, was fine dining as a manager. So hotels, fine dining restaurants around the world, Canada and some states and England and Scotland and all around Australia. My first career. So when we opened a restaurant here in Canberra, this is talking ancient history now, 93, 94, 95, called The Republic. And it was a benchmark contemporary wine in Australia. It was one of the first to have bush tucker, first to have Canberra wine by the glass, first to have local produce, very contemporary expression. We won chef's hats, were in vogue. You know, it was a weird moment, right? So I ran front of house. I was the manager of that. And the coffee we got was from a long-standing family-run business called Collaborators. So we had a house blend made for us. So since then, that's all I've pretty much always drunk. Thanks for tuning in, Watley Neil. If you've got a question, just chime in below and I'm happy to help. And hope your year's been safe and well, indeed. So anyway, so recently they've got back in touch and they've, you know, kind of revamping their brand and so forth. So whilst there's been some fantastic innovative coffee makers and blenders and grinders around here, I go back to old school. When you got a puppy at 5:30 in the morning, you kind of need your coffee situation sorted out. So what I do is I grind my coffee, have it ready in the percolator. 5:30, Cosmo wakes up, give me his breakfast, make the coffee, drink the coffee, and then we're ready vaguely for the day. Fun fact: hangovers and puppies at 5:30 in the morning, not the best combination. Just quietly. All right, Cosmex, Farrers. I'm still with Canberra Vogue, but bear with me. So Farrers are a new wholesaler, distributor, retailer, and so we did some fun stuff with them this year. They're really championing craft spirits around Australia and around the world, so they're great blokes and really care about what they're doing and really believe in their product, and local winemakers as well. Our Gin Society. Gin Society is a Sydney-based subscription magazine. They make a beautiful, glossy monthly mag featuring a different gin and culture from around the world. And you get a gin and all the rest of it. So they approached me during lockdown to do a series of videos for them. Excuse me, cheers. So what I produced was, they sent me the whole lot. And so for continuity's sake, I did all the 10, 12 videos all on the same day, which I don't recommend, quietly. But I took one for the team. And I made a special martini for each one. So we're talking Jensen's Gin, Le Tribute, Hobart number 4, what else is there? A bunch of them. Some really, really beautiful gins from around the world and Australia. Hartshorn is another one. So I had to really put my thinking cap on to come up with some original. Anyway, bottom line is, if you go to a YouTube channel, you'll see them all there, and they go about 3-5 minutes. And so if you've got one of those gins, don't know how to make them or do them, these are original recipes I created especially for Gin Society, so they're great. Thank you guys. Her Canberra. Now, Her Canberra, a very special place in my heart. The team of Her Canberra, they're like the leading lifestyle magazine editorial in the region, and they used to publish this beautiful hard copy magazine here, but COVID put pay to all that, so they're now virtual. And they've featured me many times. I'm here somewhere. There I am. This is from last year, Martini Whisperer. So big place in my heart. Gorgeous, gorgeous people, big hearts. And so what we did this year was 2 things, and they're on my YouTube channel as well. No, one isn't, sorry to say. So way back in March, they asked me to create the official quarantini for Canberra, which we did. We did a live broadcast here with Emma McDonald, the associate editor. And then a few weeks ago, she came back and I made 3 cocktails, like the Pivot and the 20 Teeny and something else. The ISO something, sort of names escapes me. 3 really cool cocktails using the Canberra distillery range. And we had a live audience here, and puppies were here, and there was puppymonium, and what could possibly go wrong, right? Anyway, great night. So that's on my website, and also I've captured the whole clip, so it goes about 45 minutes, I think. Again, it's on my YouTube channel, but great fun. So Her Canberra, big heart, love you dearly. Maiden Eye. So Maiden Eye, I'm sure many of you know Maiden Eye Vermouth. Way back when I was getting going, I created the official Centenary Martini for Canberra, the Centini. I reached out to what was then a handful of distillers. We're only talking 2012. So now we've got almost 350 distillers, gin makers in Australia. I updated another 2 on my website today. And we've gone from almost 350 from about 6, thereabouts, not even that, back in 2012. One of whom I reached out was West Winds, and I needed a move to make a martini. Of course, so Maid and I came to the party, and we stayed in touch ever since. Anyway, they reached out during the lockdown, and I was chosen as a select few to be featured as part of our social media as a friend of Maid and I. So I was really, really honoured at that. So Chinook Media and Maid and I, thank you. We also got from Hotel Gin Tonica. So Gin Tonica, Melbourne-based company that does fantastic pioneering subscription of miniatures of Australian gin and craft spirits. So basically you get a 3-pack or 6-pack of Australian gins. If you remember the world record attempt we did recently, so Dave and his team out of Melbourne organised that. I hosted the one in Canberra. We were the biggest in Australia, I'm sorry to say, so thank you Canberra. 70 people turned up, even socially distanced, we just knocked it out of the park. So we got the world record and hold that fort. So David published last year, which helped launch the Parliament House here. I emceed the event, back to front, I know. The Australian Book of Australian Gin, which you can get on their website. So the first ever hard copy about Australian gin. Anyway, champion that from the get-go. So again, we're going to do some good stuff next year, which I can't talk about just yet. So some really good, there might be some merchandise or good stuff to get. Anyway, so David Box and his team, Gin Tonica, again, thank you. Who else is there? America. George Smart. If you're into mid-century modern and architecture, you need to know about US Modernist Radio. It's on YouTube, it's on Apple, it's on any play podcast. Weekly episodes, it's the who's who of design, architecture, mid-century modern design, Nancy Sinatra to, Lord Kids, the whole box and dice, including yours truly, dare I say. So I met them when I was in Palm Springs at Modern Dancing Week a couple of years ago. And we've stayed in touch ever since. George is a very class act from North Carolina. So again, all things went a bit south this year. He pivoted because he usually also does tours around to Scandinavia of architecture tours, Japan or wherever. And so he dreamt up this notion of doing kind of Zoomy kind of variety. So I was here making martinis at 9 o'clock in the morning. Not only for their time zone, with comedians and musicians, and it was like a variety show. Fantastic. We did it a few times. So US Modernist, George, fantastic work. So yeah, US Modernist Radio, very funny, very interesting, like books and designers. But if you're into MCM, that's where you need to go. And a big shout out also to Underground Spirits. So I've done a bit with them this year. I try to spread myself around, so not too closely aligned. Underground is another one of the leading Canberra distilleries here, award-winning, very schmick, contemporary expression of gins and vodkas. Great, lovely team, really family-run business again. So I did help launch their gin and tonic and cocktail experience at the world-class information centre here in Canberra by the lake 2 weeks ago. Made a cocktail for the occasion. So again, Underground Spirits, love your work. If you're just joining me, I'm just talking about some of the highlights of the year for me. If you've got a question, by all means jump in and fire away. And if you want to know, it's my last Instagram live for the year. I'll stay in touch, throughout the break for the rest of it. But I thought it'd be a chance to, because I did the list, and it's actually been a fair bit, despite everything. So, I thought I'd share it with you. Now, I want to reach out now to all the distillers who have sent me samples I've done reviews of. I'm just going to rattle off a list of names now. And there's one tomorrow, friends, my last review of the year, from Sydney, unexpected guest. Imagine a combi with a distillery on the back that comes to your place. So tomorrow, plus there'll be a special offer exclusive to you guys at the bottom of the article. So I'll send the link around tomorrow. It'll drop about 11 o'clock on the website, and I'll send it around afterwards on all this. So yeah, for my last review of the year, unexpected guest, really cool concept out of Sydney, husband-wife team. Anyway, so reviews and articles this year, and distillers who sent me stuff to look at. And again, I'm going to say from the bottom of my heart, I never ask. You come to me, and I respect your product, and I'm in awe of what you do. Really am. We did an article about distillers, Triple H Distilling, who actually make distills, and some others around Australia. There's an article about the form, and that was my top 12 articles of the year. I published it recently, and I think number 12 and 11 was about some of the still makers. There's about 8 in Australia, but I could get in touch with 4, and they make beautiful. You couldn't have a booze without distills, right? So I'm going to do an article about Coopers next year, just by the by. Anyway, so Boulder out of Victoria, Canberra Distillery, Cora. We're going to do an article about their fabulous new release whiskey, by the way. Yes, I do whiskey, just remembering. Hurdle Creek. They sent me recently this gorgeous stuff. Hurdle Creek is near Millawa in central Victoria. Really worth a visit. They've been going for quite a long time. I'm going to say 20 years. Artesian well spring underneath their water, local botanicals, proper farm, but They know their stuff. And they sent me this beautiful cherry reserve. It's 30% ABV, so I'm going to have fun with this one. You bet. So thank you, Hurdle Creek. Headlands out of South Coast New South Wales, who have an amazing gins that use the only one I know of native juniper. It's not juniper as you know it. It's hand foraged, only about 100 bottles get made a year, so they're stunning. So Headlands, Juraja in the Southern Highlands, New South Wales, they gave me a bunch of gin, which I've been sharing around and championing them for them. And their whiskey's amazing, aged in Yemenese and Oloroso barrels from Spain. Fantastic. Probably most exotic gin I had all year was from Lord Howe Island. So look it up, it's on the site. But northern New South Wales, and you fly a few hours, and it's a tiny little World Heritage Island. I think there's only 300 people live in the island, and they allow about 300 tourists to go there. And so anyway, so really lovely gin from there. Amazing. Long way from home. Plymouth gin, I'll have more to say about that next year. Here's a hint. Are Old Youngs. So Old Youngs in Swan Valley, south of Perth, Western Australia. James Young is a fantastic distiller. He has his regular 1829 release is some of the best handling of juniper, the dry gin, the dry dry that I know in Australian gin. If you like flinty, it's the business. Anyway, inspired by the year, he came up with this appropriately labelled called Fuck COVID. Excuse my language, kids. And yeah, it's a doozy. It's a doozy, right? So I got one of the few bottles, 60% ABV. So when one of those fails, drink this. Thank you, James. What else is going on? Retiring gin. So Bert Shrug, Victoria, he kind of came out of retirement to make a special gin in honour of some family members who passed recently, and made a beautiful barrel-aged gin, which is stunning. So thank you, Bert. Sandy Bay, again Tasmanian. They got gold in San Francisco last year. Amazing work. Beautiful kind of anise forward gin. You want to say hello to Cosmo? Anybody? Yes, Cosmo. Hey, Cosmo, get a kiss. Thanks, buddy. There's Cosmo. More kisses. There you go. There's Cosmo, everybody. He's quiet for a moment. Cosmo to Cosmonaut. 6 months old. What could possibly go wrong? Good boy. Where are we? Yes. So retiring gin, Sandy Bay. They've sent me a summer release, and I've been a bit busy, so I'll talk about that in January, I suspect. Very elegant gin first releases. Amazing accomplishment for what they've done. Tasmanian Tonic Company. So I did Dry July, which is a charity thing, and you take off booze. I hate to say it, it's the third year I've done it. I'm probably not going to do it again. It's a very long 31 days, just quietly. However, one thing that did get me through was the syrups from the Tasmanian Company. Beautiful, luscious, like smoky eucalyptus, Samanica honey. So I can make these different non-alcoholic cocktails each night to get me through. So thank you. Unexpected, talked about them. And Vestal Vodka. So again, before this unpleasant, Vestal Vodka came to me via UK from Poland. So beautiful potato-based vodka, handcrafted in England, but using single source organic potatoes from Poland. And that bottle didn't last long. It was just a killer. I've got some coming from tomorrow, I think, maybe, from Moscow. All right. Moscow via Netherlands, so who knew? So it's been complicated. I'll talk about it next year. But I get really wonderful stuff. So yes, and also a special shout out to all those distillers and things I've given a shout out for, and you didn't say thanks. I appreciate that. Stay well. Okay, charities. I've worked with Lifeline. I do this Lifeline. Vestal is fantastic, is it not? Yes, I totally agree with Whitney Neal. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. I love that really luscious mouthfeel they have. So, Martini, Dolan. Oh my God, so good. Shout out to my charities. So I personally support several charities, but that's just for me. But in terms of Martini Whisperer, I get approached by different charities just to donate Martini masterclasses or gin masterclasses, which I'm always happy to do for small groups. So, and it's a great way to meet wonderful people. So Ronald McDonald House and Lifeline. I do that every year, and well, it's the least I can do. So I'm going to be doing some events for those guys next year as well. So they're doing wonderful work, happy to help. My media friends, so Her Canberra I mentioned, City News, I'm in the City News local barrack next week talking about summer cocktails. ABC Canberra, I've been very, very honoured to be invited to ABC Canberra, talk about booze on the radio quite a few times this year. So again, never pitch, I just hope what I do is get recognised and they reach out, things like that. And finally, but not least, as I say, I want to talk about my team, Holly and Sian and all the lovely staff who work with me on events, because I do lots of this stuff, but also I do corporate events and larger cocktail parties or private parties. So I've got a lovely team of casuals, and they've been wonderful this year. So you guys have been fantastic. You know, you've really turned up and always so professional and polished. So I love you. My 2 contributors to my website, Jan's in, I'm going to say Denmark, but it's almost like Sweden. It's complicated. He's in an island in the middle, but you know who you're talking about. He writes about Swedish gin. He's doing a book about Swedish gin at the moment. Gin with Jens is his tag. And Simon out of Japan, who also beautifully this year about things like Kyoto gin and places and brands like that. So I'm actually looking for new contributors next year. So if you've got a hankering to do some writing, please reach out. Give me an example of your work. It could be occasional, once a month. It doesn't really matter. If you've got a passion for whiskey, craft spirits, cocktail culture, I'm all ears. So please get in touch, because the more voices I have on the site, it's not about me. We're just here to tell the story of these wonderful distillers and the people who made that possible. That's where I'm coming from. My lovely family. It's been a year. So I said I had a whole year's of business and evaporated. So I'd like to shout out to the public servants of Australia who have done an extraordinary job. We've got a little outbreak in Sydney at the moment, but pretty much, you know, we've not prospered, but we've survived and in a shape as, you know, as good as any country in the world right now. And that's thanks to amazingly hard work and talented public servants. And for the Australians amongst us, here's the JobKeeper. And up next, so what's coming up next? So next year you can look for things, a bit more regular program. I've got to get myself a bit of a groove. So I did the Martini Clinic. I don't know if you saw it or not. It's like online, you pay $10 to come along to. It's 45 minutes and it's based on a topic that you'll kind of ask me. You always want to know about X, Y, Z, about a martini. So it's a private little masterclass with a few friends. And that's been great. So we did one last week. It was really popular. So I'm going to do about every second week, every second Sunday, I think it's going to be, at 5 o'clock. So I'll publish that in the next few weeks on the website and Facebook, etc. Here, let you know the dates, and you can book yourself in, and also you can propose topics if you want me to delve into anything. You name it, sky's the limit, and invite some friends. So yeah, that's been really fun. So the Martini Clinic, that's new, but it's working well. I'm going to next week publish my top 5 Martini experiences of the year. And given the year we have, they're not the ones I did last year, like in San Diego and Sydney. So look out for that. Plus tomorrow, like I said, this review drops, plus a special offer for you guys to get some of the special rate, which is very nice of them. Thank you. And that's about it, honestly. No more to say, except to say I only do this because of you guys, quite honestly. The energy I get and the positivity I get from my Instagram community, you're my happy place, quite seriously. You can go to other social platforms and it's not as fun, it's not, the vibe you create, and, it's almost like I said in a more serious forum a few months ago, I said in this year, our world got smaller, but it got bigger. Clearly we got smaller because of lockdowns and things like that, but it got bigger because we reached out globally and found our tribe and nurtured our communities. And I know, knowing you're there and listening and tuning in and getting what I'm saying, there's an artist, old English artist, he's still kicking around, by the way, called Al Stewart. He's doing a tour in England. It's Year to Cat, it's very, very daggy, but he's a very, very talented songwriter. And he sings a song where one of the lines goes, "And some of you are harmonies to all the notes I play. Although we may not meet, still you know me well. Others talking secret keys and nothing I change will say will change the spell." In other words, though we never meet, those amongst you will get where I'm coming from, and vice versa. There's a harmony in a community there that's really, really important. I think if I want to say anything about this year, it's that. It's the value of what we've created collectively, thanks for platforms like this, that has got us through, that inspired us. And I've just tried to do my bit and lead you astray every so often. Sorry about that, with bad temptation of too many good cocktail martinis. But you guys mean the world to me. So here's to you and yours. Stay well, stay safe. Go home 2020, you're drunk. And here's to a vintage 21. May your cocktails be better, but may your health, your prosperity, and your friends and your family shine in 21. Have a vintage year. Thanks for tuning in.